Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Am I live? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? What up, people? This is the Purp Show, season 5, episode 8, aka Purptober 6. You know what I'm saying? Happy Halloween to everybody that's out there. Shouts to everybody checking out the replay or checking out live. This is going to be a relatively short episode. A short show for tonight. Don't got too much to kind of talk about. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll see who pops up. You know what I'm saying? And we got quite a few things to talk about tonight as far as topics and stuff like that. But what up, Guru? What up, BG? So we got a couple things popping off tonight. Nothing too crazy. Wait for Rashad to get up in here. But what I got down the pipeline, I got a couple movie reviews coming. Uzi drops his Eternal Take 2 at midnight, so I'm definitely trying to get off of this before that drops and stuff like that so I can get ready for that. Tyler Creator dropped his album on Monday, Chromacopia. Really, really, really dope fucking project. And I'm hearing it's projected to sell like 200 upwards to like 300K first week, which is insane. And I think it's going to change a lot of things in the music landscape. I think a lot of people are going to start to drop like at random dates. I think people are going to start dropping during the week because I think that is smart. Um, because when I listened to it, I was in traffic or just going to work and whatnot, so it works out perfectly, and it gives a lot more time for people to kind of digest the album rather than putting it out on the weekend where people just it gets kind of just lost in the sauce with everything else that drops on a Friday night. So yeah, Chromacopia definitely a fire ass album. If you have heard it, let me know your thoughts in the comments about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to this Uzi project. I don't know a lot of other people are dropping too. I think like West Side Gun. I think Freddie Gibbs is dropping something as well. Ab Soul drops his album Soul Burger next week, I think. So yeah, we're just about to get like back to back album drops, and it's exciting, for real, for real. So yeah, like I said, we got quite a few things to kind of go over tonight. I wanted to talk about the best slasher mask, Trick or Treat versus Halloween '78, Trick or Treat 2 script. We're going to talk about the new Universal monster animatronics, um, Fear Street Prom Night got announced as well. Wayne's brothers are back for Scary Movie 6. Terrifier 3, the highest grossing unrated movie. Indie films versus mainstream. I'm just gonna run down my top 10 movies of this month. So to kind of just wrap things up with that. So like I said, we got a lot to kind of get through. Should be exciting. Yeah, not too much else going on. I think this is going to also be the last stream before we get the Purp Awards. I was thinking about that. I was like, do I want to do a November stream? Don't know. I think it'd be better just to kind of do this last stream so I can have like that whole full 2 months to kind of really focus and lock in with that award show because I'm close from being done, but there's quite a few movies to still come out, some albums that I'm kind of waiting for to see if they release this year. Um, some other animes to finish. So it's definitely going to be tight. But I definitely decided to do the Perp Show Awards be after Christmas, so I'll have enough time to get in as many things as possible. So nothing kind of gets left out. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of pretty much covered everything I was going to cover in 2024. And it's going to be exciting. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Just looking at what I got going so far, starting off my list and all the different categories and stuff. What up, Rashad?
You.
What up? What up? Yeah, I was just talking about my plans for the Perp Show Awards and stuff like that. Um,
Okay.
how this is gonna be the last episode before getting that, and I'm gonna be doing the show after Christmas because usually I do it before Christmas so I can give myself like a week or something to kind of just take a break. But it Nosferatu and like Squid Game comes out like right on Christmas after Christmas and stuff. So I was like, I want to kind of get that in to kind of cover all the bases pretty much, so to speak. But how you been, bro?
Yeah, I've been cool, man. Yeah, just got in from work and had to fix me a quick dinner real quick. So yes, I'm still kind of sweating the shit from racing back in the house. But so
Yeah,
you're gonna do the perp show? You said after New Year?
yeah. The Perp Show Awards. I'm gonna do it after Christmas.
Okay,
Like, so
after
it's gonna be
Christmas.
like the weekend, like that weekend of that week of Christmas, but like it's gonna be on the 20th, so it's gonna be like a Saturday night. So
Okay, okay.
yeah, so I'm gonna see how that works out. Cause like I said, I usually do it before, so I can have my like little break and stuff. But I'll probably end up just taking a longer break going into next year, anyways. But I just wanted to kind of let the people know what I got going. I was talking a little bit about the Tyler Creator stuff, like his new album. Him
Mm,
dropping it on a Monday, which I think a lot of people are going to start going back to just releasing it during the week and stuff instead of dropping everything on Friday.
okay.
Yeah, and
I,
he's
I can't I
projected.
can't I can't tell you one Tyler the Creator song, man. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
think
old.
I think you will really like this one because like he like his last four albums, including this one, have been really fucking dope. Just like you see the maturity in his sound and just the different concepts and stuff like that. It's just a very mature albums and stuff like that. So I definitely think it resonate with you and stuff like that.
If you say
But
so.
yeah, I know some of his antics to be weird, some shit like that. But I say like his albums are actually really fucking dope. Like,
The first time I heard of Tyler the Creator is when Jaden got on stage and said that was his boyfriend his whole life. That that that
he be
that was
he
my
be trolling.
introduction.
Yeah, he be trolling.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a solid album. He's projected to do like what like 200K first week or like 300K. He already dethroned like Taylor Swift and shit like that. So releasing that shit on like a Monday at random and stuff like really kind of worked. You know what I'm saying? Because like people be at work, going to work, they can listen to the album and stuff instead of just having to drop it like midnight on a Friday and shit like that. And most people just go listen to it, just put it down and whatnot. It just kind of gives people more time to soak in the album and shit. But I was just talking about that. But to kind of get into these little quick topics real fast, we have the best slasher mask out of Ghostface, Jason, or Michael. I did a poll on this. I don't know where it's at now, but it's almost kind of starting to even out of like 20 something votes. But I picked Ghostface. I feel like Ghostface has the illest mask. Who would you go with?
Well, you know what? Taking all biasness out of it because you know how I feel about Ghostface, but as far as recognizing it and just the look, I gotta say Ghostface because Jason. There's so many generic type Jason masks that you can get, and
Yeah,
it's basically just a hockey mask. And Michael Myers, I never understood why. I mean, I get it; it's an iconic movie and iconic character, but as far as like mask goes, yeah, I gotta go
yeah.
Ghostface on that one.
Yeah, because Michael's been the most inconsistent out of all of them. Like, because like sometimes it look really trash, and then it
Hmm.
looks really dope. Like in I know people don't like the David Gordon Green, the Blumhouse ones, but I feel like that's the best his mask look like with the half of his mask burnt and shit. It looks more
Well,
intimidating.
well, also it's more true to the original because
Yeah,
throughout that series, each movie the mask was different.
yeah,
Well, actually, I heard in the second movie, I think it was the same mask, but the guy's face was kind of bigger, so it stretched the mask
mm.
out some. But yeah, that 2018 one was more close to what the original was.
Yeah. That shit they did in Halloween 5. I don't know what the fuck they was thinking. Like that shit look goofy as shit. And I've been rewatching like a lot of the Friday the 13th. Like I just finished um Jason Lives last night. That's definitely the best one. Yeah, That's got to be the best one.
Yeah, that's my personal favorite one. Yeah,
And then four, because those first three, like revisiting those first three, there's things that I like about it. Then there's things that's just like, this is kind of rough, you know. And the whole Tony Jarvis shit in five, bro, is hilarious because it's like everybody is just has anger issues. Fucking, you have Tommy putting motherfuckers through tables and shit. Like that shit's fucking hilarious to me.
I
But
hated
yeah,
part five.
the next one's gonna be new blood and stuff like
New
that. I'm gonna
Blood.
watch that. Yeah,
You know what?
but it's
The New Blood's probably gonna piss you off, bro, because every time I watch that movie is heavily censored. Like you can tell the MPAA was really cracking down on Paramount and the amount of gore and kills that they had because every time Jason would go to kill somebody, it would cut away. Like when you watch, you're gonna watch the rated R version, bro, but it feels like it's edited for television because damn near
I
every kill it cuts away.
I felt like that while watching five. I was like, yo, four has some really dope kills, and then we kind of just don't like we do a lot of cutaways, and then six we go right back to being gory again. So it's like very inconsistent with this shit. But I'll be looking out for that for sure. Because I don't know which one Shutter has. Like if they have like what I'm saying, they have the censored one, or
But
it'd
you
be
know it.
interesting. I'm looking forward to it. So
And if I could be honest, I say six is my favorite. I agree, six and four. But for some reason, when I was a kid, bro, three scared me the most.
interesting.
And I'll tell you why. Because I remember watching it on TV, bro, and at the end, after she kills Jason, right? And you see her outside in the boat, and she looks up at the house, and you see Jason without his mask on trying to get out the window.
Yeah.
And it was just something about that image, bro, that creeped me out. And then you see him run
Yeah.
downstairs and bust through the door and run
hmm
towards her, and then he was gone.
Yeah. I
Like,
appreciate part two, just the beginning where it's just like the final girl from the previous film gets murked and stuff like that.
right,
I was like, yeah, he gets his get back. But it's just like the certain inconsistencies. Cause I feel like they just were kind of making shit up as they go type of shit, where like certain things didn't connect. I was like, okay, we're just not going to address that. What happened the last one, and it kept like they kept changing the camp name and shit like that. But it's still like I appreciate it more like rewatching it. I I acknowledge the flaws. Same thing with like the Halloween franchise, where it's just like I always say like the Halloween franchise is really like them early movies is really carried by Loomis because Loomis is the greatest hype man. You know what I'm saying? If Loomis was
right.
not in those movies, bro, like I just am John Carpenter's score and stuff like that. They spam
Right.
that shit heavy, like because for me, like Laurie doesn't start to get good until like after four, after like two, really. I still like Jamie Lee Curtis, but I just don't feel like she really becomes that iconic character till like later on. Um, and just a lot of Michael's kills are just lame as fuck to me. That's just my personal opinion.
Very
Um,
generic. Yeah, very,
it's just like how many
very,
times could somebody just get choked or stabbed with a butcher knife? It's just like
right,
it just kind of gets played out. But I will say, like, the lore is tight up until a point, up until like Halloween four. I think four, two, four, and 2018 are the best ones out of the bunch for me.
Oh, you didn't like
That
the
I
one with
enjoy.
LL Cool J?
Absolutely not. I need to rewatch. I need to actually rewatch H2O.
Yeah.
I'd seen Resurrections playing because I was watching AMC and stuff, and it's like, oh, Halloween 2. It's a fucking Rob Zombie one. I was like, bro, I
Hmm.
was watching this. I was like, what was he thinking making this movie? And
Yeah.
there's people that love it, but maybe I had to kind of go back and rewatch those two movies as well because I didn't mind the first one. I just
Right.
haven't revisit the second one, so I don't even know what the fuck happens in that shit. Like I don't remember.
But
Um,
what's crazy about those franchises though, bro, is it's like, Friday the 13th is a result of Halloween. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, and he'll tell
Mhm.
you like we bit off of Halloween, but it's crazy because then when Halloween 2 came out, Halloween 2 tried to keep up with Friday the 13th to make the kills more gorier. Because you go back and
Mhm.
watch that first one, it wasn't bloody
But
at all. It was
but to
just
be honest,
it was basic, but because Friday the 13th was kicking so much ass, they said, okay, we gotta up the gore factor here. And that's why
but
part
really
two.
people forget though, like that Black Christmas really like inspired, what I'm saying, Halloween, and then Halloween
Oh yeah, no
inspired
doubt.
it. And that's what's really dope about like getting into the histories of slashers and why like once you understand just the 80s slasher and just all that, the elements, and even outside of the 80s stuff, just all the different horror that was coming out at that time, you will appreciate the Terrifier movies a lot more because it definitely is pretty much like a love letter to that era and stuff in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
But just brought into
I
modern
feel
day.
elevated, and I feel elevated the genre as well.
Yeah, like Damien definitely is like looking at the flaws of those and trying to not make those same mistakes. Even though like you could, some people could say like the story lacks, but the story is like when you rewatch these movies, the story is like a little bit more consistent than a lot of these other ones where a lot of them like they'll go in an interesting direction and then completely go in a different direction the next movie and then what I'm saying. So there's that. But
Yeah,
like I said, like you gotta watch like a lot of these different horror movies to understand where we're at now. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
But yeah, next, another one I made a whole poll and stuff on TikTok about this one. Hold on. Yeah, that's another. Like Jason doesn't really have like a final girl. Like it's always kind of different, or they'll forget about that character. It's
I mean,
weird.
I guess Tommy Jarvis is probably the only one because he was in three of them. He was
Yeah.
in 4, 5, and 6. So
And Tommy
I
was
guess
pissing me off, bro. I was like, bro, niggas already dead in Jason Lives, and you gonna
yeah,
put a fucking, what I'm saying? You gonna
resurrect
put
him.
a
Yeah,
rod in this motherfucker? No Diddy.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And then she
yeah.
gonna get straight. But then once he got that little boost, bro, he was off.
That was
Punch,
it.
bro. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he
That, that
became super. He became super Jason after that, man. Putting
the
like bad
funny,
parts out and shit.
the funniest part, that shit had me dying. I kept laughing at that shit. Like, is the dude that was like, oh, this bitch should be in the kitchen to death. The guys that were going out paintballing and shit, and he was just going off. And you know what's another thing that annoys me about Jason is like he rarely has his machete like that. He always uses like his axe, or he'll use like things that we've seen before. But I was just like, bro, use that machete.
Yeah. Does he? Yeah, well, it's been a while since I've seen Jason Lives, so he doesn't use the machete that much in Jason Lives.
I mean, he gets the one from the one of the dudes.
Like the paintball, right? Because they
Yeah,
ripped
he
the whole
gets
arm
that,
off.
but like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just looking at that shit. That shit was funny, but I really like Jason Lives, like where, but also that one shot where the RV flips over, it's on
Oh
fire, and then
yeah,
he's sitting
yeah.
on top of it and it's smoke. I was like, bro, that's cinema right there. Like that's the best like
Mm-hmm.
cinematic shot of all these damn movies. And then I really like 2009. 2009's
Yeah,
Friday the 13th
2009
is
was
fire.
dope. And I did well. The part in Jason Lives that made me laugh the most for some reason because I have a sick sense of humor is when he
Mhm.
killed the one girl where he threw her through the window and like half of her
Yeah,
body's hanging out and he just comes and snatches her back up real quick.
yeah, that was crazy.
Shit like that makes me laugh, man. I don't know why. Damn.
And bro, Reggie in that was it Reggie in I think it was in five, right? The little black kid, where
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
he screams like a little bitch, and then he just takes
Right.
off, leaves the white girl. Shit, it's like, bro, he was gone. Director said, "Yo, run as fast as you can, bro."
Right,
But
right.
the next thing, I think this is a really interesting comparison. Considering these two, Trick or Treat versus Halloween
Mm,
'78.
mm.
I personally like Trick or Treat more just because I feel like that's the Halloween that we should have gotten as far
Okay.
as like anthologies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just the interconnected stories, it just really works perfectly, in my opinion. Not to
Yeah,
take away nothing from the original Halloween, because like I said, that shit is always gonna be iconic.
yeah.
I just don't love it as much as everybody
Mm.
else, personally.
I understand it. Well, yeah. So for me, Halloween '78 is definitely more of a nostalgia trip for me because, like, I mean,
Mm,
if I'm having a watch party here at the house, like if I'm inviting people over and I say, hey, let's put on a scary movie to watch for Halloween, I'm choosing Trick or Treat because I
mm,
feel like that's more of a movie you could watch with a crowd and have a good time with it. Whereas Halloween is mostly nostalgia because I grew up watching that as a kid every Halloween movie. I mean, every Halloween season. You know what I mean? So
mm.
yeah, I'll agree. I'll choose Trick or Treat in that case.
Yeah, and it's like and I think these like you can watch both of these. I think these are perfect like companion pieces and stuff like that. It's just Trick or Treat feels still fresh. There's still a lot of people that haven't seen this movie, and it's
Right.
crazy that like Sam has become an icon and off of just home movie status and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Imagine if this shit was in theaters and stuff at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, which brings me to my next topic is Trick or Treat 2. The script is very very good. The director says so. I was just like, thank God. When are we gonna get the fucking movie though? Which makes me think like, is it probably going to be like a 2026 release, just right around the time, just just around like the 20th anniversary, which is kind of crazy to kind of think about.
Okay, so that we don't have a release date yet for
Nah,
two.
he just said the script is good. It's very
Mm,
very good.
okay, well that's promising.
Yeah, that's at least we got something. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
got something to look
I don't
forward
know,
to.
when y'all gonna get shooting though. That's what I'm thinking. And
Yeah,
if they start shooting next year, maybe we can get 2026. Or I don't want to do
I
like the
mean,
same year type shit. Like,
because horror movies are very easy to shoot. Like if you notice
yeah,
when they shoot a horror movie, like it's released like 6 months later. So for whatever reason, that's like the quickest movie to release is a horror movie.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, like, I just don't I wouldn't want them to kind of like blitz through shooting and stuff like that. I would just like,
Hmm.
yo, make the script, shoot like, and then like sometime next year or something like that in the fall, and just have it
Right.
come out next at some time, or like, because I would want this to come out around October or something like that. But
Hmm.
who knows when this shit's gonna get made? But
Yeah.
just letting y'all know that's in the works. So
Mm.
even though they did confirm like this graphic novel, I was like, that pissed me off because I was like, bro, I want a fucking movie. It's cool that you're making this graphic novel. I don't know if Trick or Treat 2 is going to um be like or if that's going to be like a bridge. Then maybe I have to read that shit. But
Right.
other than that, I just want a Trick or Treat to put
Yeah.
that bitch in theaters though. You know what I'm saying? I think I would definitely do really well, especially.
Hmm.
Next is the new Universal Monsters
I
animatronics. I don't know if you've
saw
seen them.
those. I
Yo,
saw
them
those. Those
shits.
shits look
I was
fire,
like,
bro.
bro, that's all we need. We don't need none of these actors and shit like that. Just give us that. Give me that Wolfman.
Yeah.
Give me
Yeah.
that Wolfman. Give me that Frankenstein. Give me that Dracula. I was like, bro, that shit looks so fucking cool.
Well, and
You
and
could
check
go
it out, man. You know that they're listening to the fans because one of the biggest complaints at Universal Studios is with the rides is that everything is on screens. You know what I'm saying? All these what
yeah,
they call it dark rides with the screens and shit. And like for example, I
4D
remember
rides.
yeah. So I
Uh-huh.
remember when Confrontation first opened up. This goes to show how old I am, man. When Confrontation opened up at Universal, it was actually an animatronic life size King Kong that you were
Yeah.
like. Have you ever went on that ride, Perp? Confrontation?
It probably like a long time ago. I remember the Jaws one, but they shut that shit down. Like,
Oh man, bro, it was nothing like it because you was up on him to where like he had bananas on his breath, like you could smell the bananas from his breath. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
literally, and it was such a cool effect. You had the pyros and shit, like you felt like you was in the movie. And then they come out with Skull Island with the Skull Island ride, and people were just shitting on that ride. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter, she just went to Universal this year, and for whatever reason, it's the Skull Island's not even 3D anymore. It's just regular
that's
2D
weird.
screens. And she was like, it was boring. It was whack.
Yeah, they got a
So
lot of those shits, like the Jimmy Fallon show. I was like, why does Jimmy
yeah,
Fallon got a fucking ride here, bro?
right. So the fact that they're going back to animatronics, man, like dog, that I'm all for that.
I think if you do go to Universal when that opens, let me know how it is and so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you should vlog that if you can and stuff like that. That'd be
Oh
cool.
hell yeah, hell yeah.
Um, but just those designs, it's like, bro, just use that for the movies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even Dracula looks dope. You could get like a voiceover or something like that, or you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Go
Right.
back to like, even because that's how like Chucky is. He's like an animatronic shit, and just that shit just looks so dope with the Wolfman and how he's swiping and shit.
Right.
That shit would
Right.
scare the fuck out of people.
And it's timeless too because I showed my son the first Child's Play today for the first time and I was nervous like
Oh
damn
shit,
is this shit still gonna hold up right? Yeah, oh Perp, I was so proud. He took it like a champ, man. He took
that's
it like
good
a
though.
champ. But I told him, I said, son, I said, you finally got a hair on your nuts, man. You a man. You know, because but I was nervous because that movie was made back in '88, so I was afraid that the practical effects wouldn't be as effective, and it still looks good because it's organic, it's real, it's actually Chucky moving and blinking, and it's not CGI, none of that. It's actual fucking animatronic puppet,
Hmm.
and it still works, so that it's timeless, man.
Yeah, I really like that. I was like, damn, that shit look like better than a lot of CGI
Yeah,
and shit. And
right.
it was clean. But all right, next, Netflix announced the new Fear Street Prom Night. I don't know if you watched the Fear
Ooh,
Street movies that
yeah, I
came
did,
out.
I
Oh
did.
yeah, you watched all three? Yeah. So this one's gonna be more closer to the actual book that's based off of. So I'm looking forward to this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I think it's gonna take
Um,
place in '88.
yeah, because if I recall correctly, the first one was '94, right? And then
Yeah, '94, and then
'94.
'87 was two, was the part two, and then
Because I
part
know,
three was 1666.
okay, yeah, because it wasn't one of them like it was supposed to be at Camp Crystal Lake or something like that.
Yeah, that's 87, 87. That was
'87.
pretty
Okay,
that was decent. I like that. I
that's
want to
when I
kind of
fell asleep
revisit
on.
that.
That's when I fell
Oh
asleep on
shit.
that. That's when I ain't like. I really did like the first one. I fell asleep on that second one, and then the third one I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, what was that in the first, was that a bread cutter she went through?
Was it? Because I know it was kind of like Scream. It was like in the tradition of Scream, that
Yeah.
'94 one.
No, I was saying like the one chick that got killed at the end, she got put
Mhm.
through the she got her head put through that fucking that slicer thing, whatever the fuck. That shit was fucking crazy.
Shit,
I was like,
man,
yo.
it's been so long. I don't even remember those movies, man. To be honest with you,
Yeah, those joints was crazy. I remember they had some really decent kills in the first one and the second one. That's why
right?
I got to definitely revisit that. But that is releasing sometime next year. Most likely, I would probably say around, because they might be done shooting it. I don't know. They might be done. They might just be ready to release or something like that. So it might be early 2025. But I would just release it in the summer or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's coming. But the
Okay.
some big news is the Wayans brothers are back for Scary Movie 6.
Yes, gotta give a round of applause for that one.
That is dope. But also,
Yes.
I have some concerns.
Okay.
I definitely have some concerns. You know, it's exciting, yes, but can do they still got it though? Are they going to put their best foot forward? Because you look at something like the haunted house movies, that didn't really take off as they
Right.
thought that it was going to take off. And it depends on who else is on board with this movie.
Well, I was
Um,
gonna say, did Keenan direct Haunted House?
I don't remember.
Because I think I did. They work better when Sean and Marlon are writing and Keenan's directing.
That's
So
what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
just
when they have the whole family dynamic there, I think it works better.
yeah, and that's just like have that family dynamic. Also, don't be afraid. I don't think they should be afraid to have new writers as well in
Mhm.
there, or just people that that could like find some witty things. Like I made a post on TikTok and also on X or Twitter that it would be really dope if they did something like I put a picture of Homie the Clown and Art the Clown, and if they did something, or if they were able to get Art in this, that'd be fucking
That'd be
amazing.
dope.
I
That'd
think
be
that.
fire.
But if they were able to do some type of twist or some type of spin off of Homie the Clown in this, that would be fucking genius. There's so much that they could really do. That's why it's like I'm really excited, but also nervous at the same time because we live in a completely different landscape when it comes to to comedy,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see like if they, because I definitely think they're going to talk about legacy sequels.
Right.
um they'll probably poke fun at like Get Out or something like that.
Hmm.
um you gotta mention the Terrifier movies in some capacity. You know what I'm saying? It's all about just what's relevant in horror, elevated horror stuff. Like that's what kind of excites me. Like the ideas that they
Right.
could really pull from and what direction they're gonna take. They could even make fun of comic book shit, like just having all these cameos that bring everybody back type shit. You know what I'm saying, for this movie.
But
Um,
yeah, but you do bring up a good point though, man, because back when they did those original scary movies, yeah, it was a different time, and
Mhm.
I remember Marlon saying that Damon stepped away from stand-up comedy because of that whole Me Too shit when that started. Because remember, he went on a Breakfast Club and he said that, you know, this is the time the Bill Cosby thing was going on. And he said that some of those women were unrapeable. And he got blasted for that. So that made him step down from comedy. So I mean, bro, honestly, we need this movie because think about it, bro. What's the last comedy that you remember watching besides these little, you know, hokey rom-coms? You know what I'm saying? We
It's been
need
a
this
long time.
movie.
It literally like honestly, it's been since like either Wolf of Wall Street or Ted. That's like the last like funny ass movies that I
And that's over
watched.
10. And that's over 10 years ago, bro. Because Wolf of
Yeah,
Wall Street was
and
2013 and Ted was 2012.
and this is why this is gonna be the next topic as well, is why like Terrifier 3 was so important, because it's like you have an unrated movie
Mm-hmm.
being this successful, and
Right.
now that kind of opens the door not only just for horror but like those raunchy comedies to come back. Like
Yeah.
that there's a space for this shit to come back, like whether it be like gritty action movies or the
Mm-hmm.
raunchy comedies and stuff like that, like bring that shit back, or just the super violent gory fucking horror movies, like all this shit can come back.
Can come back.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
And I think the Waynes are perfect to be that springboard. You know what I mean? Because you know these guys are the godfathers of comedy, man. You talk about 40 years now back, taking it back to I'm gonna get you, sucker. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I mean, but they're gonna have their work cut out for them because, like you said, now you have to be very careful in the shit that you make and say. You
Yeah,
know,
and there's a lot of pressure on them too, because it's like y'all left because they took y'all ideas. Y'all gotta just make like the best scary movie
right?
again. Like you gotta make or that would be really dope if they do the legacy shit and they ignore 3, 4, and 5 and just do
Mm-hmm.
a straight direct sequel to 2 or some shit like that.
That's what I would do, bro. I would ignore those other ones because they don't count. You
You know
know.
what I'm saying? Or they're gonna have
Yeah.
to reboot or something like that. And I'm curious to see the new faces that are gonna get there. I obviously got to bring back the OGs, but like a lot of people are talking about like they should bring in Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, because they can make the funniest like
Ooh,
kind of shit,
ooh,
whatever. But I would really like Melissa Barrera to be a part
yeah.
of this, because like seeing her in Your Monster, I was like, yo, she definitely has some comedic chops to her. Like if you just put her with like a Kiki Palmer or something like that, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying, or like Brenda, and, you know what I'm saying. I think they could do something really interesting, and don't be afraid of bringing some new faces, some new comedians or something like that, or maybe the Wayans brothers will be able to bring in some other people and stuff like that. It's exciting now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They definitely made
Yeah.
it more exciting, because if they weren't attached, I think this would have been, you know what I'm saying, dead on arrival type shit for
Yeah, no,
sure.
nobody would care. That just goes to show how significant they are, especially in the culture. You know what I'm saying? We have somebody like Vlad that try to call out Marlon, and we wasn't having that. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Vlad, like, I'm pretty sure he lost a lot of subscribers. I mean, he lost me. You know,
Yeah.
the Wayne's that's black royalty, man. Don't do
Yeah,
that.
Vlad's always on some bullshit, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Same thing with like Adam 22 and all that motherfuckers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but next topic, Terrifier 3 is the highest grossing underrated movie of all
Yes.
time at like 50 plus million, which is fucking crazy.
Ooh, I told
I
man, I
became
told you. I told you.
Yeah, you did say that. You did say it hit 50 million, which
Yes.
that shit is like I don't feel like people can really fathom how crazy that is.
Yeah.
Like how big of a deal that is. Like, yeah, of course we'll have movies that hit billions. Like there's been 50 something movies that
Mm-hmm.
hit a billion. That shit's not really special no more. But like a
Right.
movie that's completely unrated,
Right.
doesn't have to play by no type of rules,
No type of rules. No
was number
studio
one in its first
interference.
week. Yeah,
Yes.
no studio interference. Number one in its first
Mm-hmm.
week, beating out major studios.
That's large.
Like that's a huge game changer, not just for horror, but just for the landscape of films in general. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what people don't understand about this movie, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's really crazy.
And listen, and I'm gonna call it now because the fans were the cult fans were there for the first one, and they showed up for part two, and then part two we drew even more fans because Buzz is coming out like, wow, okay, this movie's not doing too bad, and now three, the fan base is even larger. So I'm gonna call it now. 4 is gonna hit over 100. Well, not maybe not hit over 100, but it's gonna hit
80.
100. Yeah, it's gonna hit close to 100, bro. If not 100.
Yeah, and I think because I see like people getting into it, like yo, I never watched the Terrifier movies. This is the first time, which is
Hmm.
fucking crazy. Why did you start with three? I just don't like.
Right.
I forget the comedian's name. I think
Tony
Tony Baker or
Baker.
something.
Tony. I
Yeah,
saw.
he's
Yeah, I
like,
saw
yeah, I
his
watch. Yeah, it's
review.
like I watched one. I didn't watch two, but I watched three. I was just like, I was kind of confused what was going on. No shit, bro. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I said. Like people that are just gonna go into this or the third one, they're gonna be hella confused about the
Right.
story and shit. Like, but but even that, like people can still find enjoyment out of it. Some people are still bitching about it, like, oh, it's trash, or um, like this one podcast, like they said like, oh, they give it like a half a star on Letterbox or
Hell
some
nah.
shit like that, which is crazy, or just compared it to Madam Web and
Oh
Borderlands. I was
hell
like, bro,
nah.
y'all are fucking tripping. And
Y'all
it just
crazy.
goes to show, like, I could tell when people have never watched slashers, bro, because it's like
Hmm.
the shit that y'all say, it just doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, it's not gonna be for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we're the
yeah, for sure.
audience, and that's all that counts, man.
Yeah, my whole thing is just like, at least know what you're talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going to have a take, so and like I said, it is definitely an acquired taste. Like slashers, I feel like in general are
Hmm.
acquired taste. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, um, but I kind of want to. I wish I was around in the '80s to kind of see the reactions to those films
Oh
at the
yeah.
time, because it's like I'm pretty sure they weren't beloved when they first came out outside of horror fans.
Yeah, listen, I have vague recollections of seeing those movies with crowds, and whether it be at home with my cousins or like, okay, for example, when I saw Jason Takes Manhattan, I remember the whole crowd went crazy when Jason knocked your boy's head off. You know what I'm saying? Like for
Yeah,
at first was oh, and then everybody just bust out laughing.
yeah. See, it's like the moments like that.
Right.
But it's like when people like praise these other like these OG slashers like Freddy and stuff like this. So I feel
Hmm.
like they've only watched the first movies.
Right.
They haven't watched how ridiculous these shits get sometimes, and it's
Oh yeah.
fun. But it's just at the same time, it's just like this is where like Terrifier gets a lot of its
Hmm.
inspiration from a lot of these '80s horror movies and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of callbacks.
and the difference is Terrifier at least is consistent with the story. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you could take like the first four Nightmare on Elm Street movies and just watch any of them, and so you can jump right to the third movie, not even see two and one, and kind of be
Yeah,
caught up because that there's no cohesive story holding those movies together. You know what I'm saying? It
right.
jumps from Nancy from the first movie, Jesse in the second movie, because by the way, I showed my son Elm Street the other day too, and I was proud he made it through that. And then I started showing him part two. He said, "Wait, but where's the girl from the first movie?" I said, "Oh yeah, I said, you don't see her again until three." He said, "So
Bro,
wait,
that
it's all
happens.
this."
That happens so much. Like when you rewatch, I was like, bro, they just not going to address what happened in the last
Yeah,
one, and they always
yeah,
do these recap. They do them heavy ass recaps at the beginning. I was like, bro, I forgot about these shits. Like
right.
it's almost like an anime joint, like because anime would like have recap joints. So it's like they'll spend like a good 5 minutes of the episode out of a 20-minute episode to
Hmm.
recap. I was like, bro, I don't need to know all
You
this,
don't need
but I
all.
already know this. But
Yeah,
but
the
yeah,
Friday the 13th movies used to do that. They would do like a little recap before the movie
hmm
started. But yeah, but Elm Street now they just jump right into the next thing, and I had to
yeah,
explain to him. I said, "Well, it's the same house, but now there's new people in there. So what happened to the girl?" I said, "Just we have to watch the next movie, son."
yeah. Be patient. So that brings me to the next my next topic is indie films versus mainstream films. And I think
Yeah,
the 2020s have definitely, I've said this numerous times, that indie films are kicking mainstream movies
right.
at like mainstream movies ass. It's like up and down. Like you can make all the money you want, but you're not going to be able to like reach that quality of those indie films. Like
Facts,
for,
facts.
for real. Like we got so many dope original ideas and stuff like that from these smaller studios, and it just shows you that like they know how to manage their budget. Now, when it comes to like the mainstream films, like when I think of like mainstream films that know how to manage their budget, I look at the Batman, I look
Hmm.
at the Dune movies,
Right.
Because what like, and I look at the Avatar movies, even though which is just crazy looking at those like Avatar 2. That's technically an old movie. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
like he shot all these movies like back to back and shit. Um,
Right.
but just the technology and just the quality of the films themselves, it looks like a 2020 film. Like when we look back 20 years from now and just like, do we want to like, is 2020 going to look like these MCU movies, or should it look like the Batman, Dune, or just like
Hmm.
these really high quality types of films? That's why I kind of look at same thing when you look at we look at things from the 80s. You could tell like that's an 80s movie, or that's a
Right.
90s movie.
Right.
That's an early
Right.
2000 film.
Yeah. Well, it is funny because you like if you look at the '90s, hell, the indie films were the mainstream films. You know what I'm saying? Like you had shit
Yeah,
like Miramax. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
like a lot of like the smaller production companies, but they became mainstream because of the smaller movies.
yeah.
So
It's kind of like just history repeating itself
right,
once again,
right, right.
to where
Yeah,
it's like
because
once
before
the
yeah,
mainstream
because who
go
knew
ahead.
Miramax before Tarantino? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Nobody. Yeah.
right. And it's like it hit like it seemed like mainstream films hit a ceiling in 2019. Who
Hmm.
knows what it would have done if we didn't go through the pandemic? How films would have gone, just
Right.
certain things like probably that you probably wouldn't see as many films being put in theaters, smaller films.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe because I look at the pandemic as like a blessing and a curse at the same time,
Yeah.
because people on one side are comfortable watching things at home, so that kind of hurts the theaters, like people not going to the theater as much compared to
Right.
those previous years and stuff like that. But I think what needs to happen is people just need to kind of get away from, not completely, but if you see like, if you're frustrated on the way the MCU is going, just go somewhere else. Take
Yeah.
your money somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Wait until they can figure shit out. Because looking at like something like the slate for 2026, that shit looks like it's about to be a legendary fucking year for movies
Yeah.
across the
Yeah.
board, especially with like mainstream movies. Now that could all crash and burn and shit, but only time could tell.
Right.
But
Well,
that's why I kind of pay attention to. I'm just like, I've found myself enjoying more these smaller movies more than these big budget movies.
right. Well, there's got to be a balance because the indie films are more for pundits like us that this is what we do. We watch movies, but it's the mainstream movies that put asses in the seat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
for example, it was a mainstream movie that saved theaters because when the pandemic hit, it threw everything out of whack, and then Top Gun Maverick comes out
That mid
and
ass shit.
you know what I'm saying, and changes the game. It
Yeah,
changed everything. So whether you liked it or not, it made a lot of
right.
money and it brought people back to the cinema. So you need the mainstream films to bring the crowd in. You know what I'm saying? Then you can introduce them to like the indie stuff. Because right now, like for
Hmm.
example, my older brother and my pop at one time were like the biggest movie fans there was. Like I would talk to them about movies all the time, and now both of them tell me the same thing. They say, "Well, there's nothing that I want to see. I haven't been to the movies in so long because last few times I went, I didn't like the movie, so I don't want to go." So neither one of them go to the movies anymore.
Damn, that's
Yeah,
sad, bro. I'm never going to get to that point. I
right.
am never going to get to that point because I could always find something that will intrigue me, or
Hmm.
because I that's the thing about me. I always am up for looking for something completely new, or something
Right.
that's completely out of my comfort zone.
And I
And
try,
I
bro,
feel,
and I
mhm.
try I think what can I think it was Maverick, yeah, because my pop introduced me to Top Gun when I was a kid. So I said, Pop, you should see Maverick, man. I think it's better than the original. He said, Nah, son. I've been there, done that, man. I already saw the first Top Gun. I don't need to see Maverick, man. I already seen Top Gun. I see him to see it, son. If you want to go see it, man, go see it. I'm good. Damn.
It reminds me of like Quentin Tarantino's takes, like where he's like, "Yo, he praised the Joker too," but he's
I
like, "Yo,
saw that.
I don't need to see, I don't need to see the dude movies. I already seen David Lynch's movie." I was like, "Bro, that's the wildest shit, bro." Like, it's like those are two completely different versions, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, hey man, his take on the Joker was fucking hilarious, man. He said that Todd Phillips is the Joker.
yeah, but now you think about it, like you're not wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's an interesting perspective. You know.
You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate those nuanced like perspectives and stuff like that. And it's just not everybody just dogpiling on a movie because it still doesn't make sense that like this is why I say like the cinema scores and Rotten Tomatoes don't ever make sense to me. Because how the
Right.
fuck you give Venom 3 a B minus and you give Joker 2 a D minus?
Mm.
How does that make sense?
Man, listen. If I could take a guess, Perp, like, listen, I had a brief stint into the critic world, and honestly,
Mm.
I think a lot of the shit's fucking rigged, man. You know what I mean?
I
So
bet. I
yeah,
bet.
and I say short stint because I would at one point I was part of the Critics Association of Central Florida, and then a month later they kicked my ass out because I spoke on the film and they didn't like my review. They didn't like what I said about it, so they told me to take the video down.
Yeah, that's whole
And
shit.
yeah, wait, but the thing about it, I took it down, but then petty me, I have a lot of my mom in me. I made I made a follow up video where I did a mock review where I was like, yes, this movie was very intellectually sound and just a human story about the journey of one's what one is willing to do to find their self and self discovery, and this is a masterful film that must be seen. And of course, my boy hit me up. He's in the association. He said, "Hey, man, you might want to take that down when you're playing with fire." And I took it down, but guess what, Perp? That video wasn't even up for 30 minutes, and them motherfuckers saw it. So now,
Them niggas is Illuminati. Cause like I definitely know that they be playing my shit. Cause it's like, yo, I be talking about a lot of these shows, movies first before any of the
yeah,
motherfuckers, bro. And then they
yeah,
come in here, they already get care packages and shit. But
uh-huh.
shouts to my homies, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
names and shit, but
yeah.
you know that's good for them. I don't need that shit. You know.
Nah, and I said the same thing, man. Like Perp, that should open my eyes, and I was like, wow. I said, so this is the critic game. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You have like there's no free speech or giving your real life. So like you said with Venom and Joker, like how the hell did it? Because the shit's rigged, man. It's a money game. You know these associations they're connected to the studios. So guess what? The studios can tell them like, hey, make sure your people show this movie love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make sure or make sure your people, whatever. And they tell us to
That's
do it. And if we don't comply, guess what? You out.
And that's what I like about, creators like, directors like Damien Leone and just his whole team. Like I see him just popping up on random channels that like probably got like 1,000 subs under that. And you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Just
Right.
he just doing a whole press story. He talking to the fans and stuff like that. Nothing seems controlled or anything. Like I
Yeah.
could tell that because like I see a lot of people that do like these from interviews and I was like, why the fuck is this like 5 minutes long?
Right.
I was
Right.
like, I would
Right.
rather like have a whole conversation, a whole hour like conversation at least about specific things and stuff like that. But
Well, shit. You want to know some of the
it
wildest
is
shit I
what it
ever
is.
heard though? The wildest shit I ever heard. I ain't gonna say no names, but one of my peers on YouTube, he this is when the last Insidious movie came out, and I don't know about you, man, but that shit was a snooze fest. I hated that last Insidious movie. But
Mhm.
this dude did his review, right? And he was acting like it was like, oh, this movie is great. You want something to go see this week and go check it out. I think you're going to enjoy it. I mean, it has a little flaws here and there, but overall, this was a great time. It's scary. Have me on the edge of my seat. You got to check it out. And I hit him up. I
Yeah.
said, bro, did we watch the same movie? I'm like,
Right.
that shit was trash. And he told me straight up, he told me straight up because he has a relationship with the people that run the AMC, so they have a good relationship, right? He said the dude, I guess the head guy stepped to him and was like, "Hey, it's been slow this week, and this is the big release. So if I can screen this for you, if you can give it a good review, that'll have
see,
people come out and come see it, and shut him a couple of dollars." I
see, I
said,
couldn't do
"No,
that.
you sold
I
out,
can't do
man."
that. I can't do that. That's why I'd be like, some people think I got wild takes or just like I got weird takes or whatever. But
Right?
it's like, no, this is legit how I feel
Yeah.
about whatever movie or show I watch. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
can acknowledge the good, I can acknowledge the bad. I just don't
Right.
harp on it as much. You know what I'm saying? If it's a movie's of like bad, I'm not gonna sit there and just be like, yo, I'm not gonna drag it for like 10 fucking years like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, that's other channels be doing that shit. It's just like I just don't how I don't know how people have milked the Last Jedi for so fucking long. Like it's just get the fuck over it. Like it's done. That movie's almost 10 years old now. It's just
Yeah.
it's whatever, bro.
Oh
It's
my
just
god.
it's just a fucking movie. At the end of the day, they're just fucking movies and stuff
They're
like
just
that.
movies, man. They're just movies, and we should be able to have our opinions on whether it's all subjective. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't be no political shit, but it is
Right.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, to close things out, I wanted to go down my Purptober top tens, like the top 10
Okay.
movies that I've watched this month. Starting with number 10, it's We Live in Time.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I really like this, other than the fact that, what I'm saying, you get to see some, what I'm saying, some titties, you know what I'm saying? You get to see, some a little
Lawrence.
BDB. Yeah,
Lawrence.
yeah, but that aside, it was really good performance by Florence Pugh. I feel like she always
Yeah.
steals the show wherever she's in, whether it's like a Marvel movie or just a movie in general.
Yeah. Well,
Midsummer.
she was so good in that movie, bro. And Andrew Garfield is a great actor, man. But is it just me, or did she just like outshine him from
Yeah,
beginning to
she
end?
also,
Like
yeah,
she stole every scene, and then it felt like she was
I
the
forgot
one
he was
wearing the
in there.
pants. Yeah, you forgot he was in. They're like 80%, 80% of the movie. This nigga eyes was shrunk wrapped with tears. I'm like,
Yeah,
nigga, you crying through the whole fucking movie, blood. We're like,
all
what's
right.
happening? God.
But then my number 9 is Kenzuki's Kingdom. This is a very small 2D animated 2D animated movie. It kind of it brought me back to like the Iron Giant days. It reminded me of that a little bit. It's a really really dope movie. If you
Okay.
find it on streaming, I would definitely recommend checking it out. I think it'd be really dope for you to watch it with your kid and stuff like that. It's a really cool family movie. So
Okay. Okay.
um it's almost like a kid version of like Castaway a little bit. And then outside the new zombie Netflix movie
Oh.
and stuff like that, that was really dope. I find it to be a really compelling family drama
Mhm.
because it is mostly a family drama more than it is about the zombies. Like the zombies are just there,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But it's more about just the family and the shit that they're going through. Really fascinating stuff.
Mm.
Then we got VHS Beyond for
Okay.
sure. That was
Okay.
the best VHS movie out of the bunch,
Yeah.
easily. Azrael at number
Real.
6.
That was
I
dope.
really like this. Samara Weaving fucking killed it.
Hmm.
It's something about like the non-speaking roles that is just very
Yeah.
compelling to me, and it's just that's not something that everybody can do. People might not be able to appreciate that or just understand that, but there's just something about just using your body language and stuff like that that speaks volumes that you can kind of understand
Right.
without it being spoken. You know what I'm saying? And just the physical stuff she was doing that movie was really dope. And I even just like how they just kind of throw you into it. You don't really know what the fuck's going on, like in the world, but it's just creepy as hell. You got these fucking burnt, crisp demon
Hmm.
zombie motherfuckers walking around, and they can fucking sprint too. That shit was crazy.
Yeah. Well, what was the deal? Well, why were they because I never understood why the fuck them people wanted her so bad.
Um, I think she was a part of that group, and I feel like she kind of branched off, and they wanted to punish her in a way. So
Oh,
that was the
okay,
way.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The next is another interesting zombie movie, Mads on Shutter. Fantastic one shot, very unique take on zombies. Fuck. And then Saturday Night, I really like this movie.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
don't like
Yeah.
the show. I don't like the actual show, but I have a new appreciation that just like this guy had to do so much in like an hour and a half before showtime.
Yeah.
It's just that shoe would just I would probably blew my brains out. I
That
just
was that
being
was that
honest.
was pure madness, man. And shout out to the casting too, like the people,
The,
like the
the,
guy
the
that
dude
played
that played Chevy Chase, he was
Chevy,
on point.
spot on Chevy Chase, man.
Belushi, like
John
yeah,
Belushi,
like
yep, yep,
he was on point. I'm not too familiar with the female characters and stuff like that, but the dude that played Grant
Garrett
was it
Morris,
Morris Grant?
Garrett Morris,
Yeah, Garrett Morris. Like
Mhm.
he was on point.
Yep, yep,
Um, just a really fascinating because I always liked like to see the behind the scenes of stuff
yeah,
and just the what if of like if they were to delay that a week, like what would have happened to like SNL?
right,
Like you know what I'm saying if they didn't go follow through on that night and it's just one of those situations. It's like you never know where that's going to take you, that decision, or
hmm
that's why you got to do certain things. You didn't just go with your gut and just follow through, even though he
right,
didn't know what the fuck the show was about, but he just went with it. That's kind
yeah,
of what I do with the Perp show and stuff like that. I don't really know. I never really had a direction for it. I just wanted to do it,
hmm
but and it just kind of manifested and took a life of its own type of thing. Same thing
right.
with the horror podcast and stuff like that. So I really appreciate it from that end. Um, Now getting into the top three, You're a Monster.
Well, I gotta see that. Yeah, I
Fantastic,
gotta check that out.
yeah, fantastic performance from Melissa Barrera. You really get to see her range. Like it has a little musical elements in there. You get to see her comedy. You get to see her act dramatically. You know what I'm saying? And you just get to see all different types of levels that you don't really normally see her do in other things like Scream or like Abigail. And she really gets to flex in this one. So, and now number two is Piece by Piece, the Pharrell documentary. I felt this was criminally underrated.
Mm.
Probably one of the best animated movies of the year. Just the fact that he decided to do a biopic, but use Legos to tell that story was
Yeah.
fucking amazing. And one of the funniest moments is where he meets Snoop Dogg and they have this PG smoke. And it's just like that whole scene was fucking hilarious. And just seeing his ups and downs and just how it's illustrated through Legos and shit. It's just really
Right.
fucking fascinating and just like that's probably what like his mind is like just like, kind of like Legos or some shit like that. I know it's corny,
Mhm.
but definitely go check this out. I think this is on VOD currently. I think it just dropped. Highly recommend it. But of course, number one is Terrifier 3. You know what I'm saying? I've seen
Oh,
this
that's a
three
shock.
times, seen it three times already this month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not shocking at all because it's like this was just horror as purest form, and it was just so fucking refreshing.
hmm
On top of the other dope horror movies that we got, it was perfect. You
Yeah.
know, people might hate this fucking movie, but I feel like in 10, 20 years over time, people are gonna fucking love it like they love these other slashers and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's a
So
good.
yeah,
That's a good list.
that's pretty much all I got for tonight. You know what I'm saying? To kind of breeze through that and kept it under an hour for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like I said, I got the Perp Show Awards coming in December. So definitely stay tuned for that. But do you got a list on top of your head or just like of like five films that stick out to you this month?
Ooh, that stuck out to me. Of course, Terrifier.
I know you like the substance,
Oh
titty
yeah, the
man.
substance did come out. Yeah, yes, the substance.
Oh
Yeah,
wait, that
with
did
the
no, that came out in September. I'm tripping, but
did it? Okay.
yeah,
All right. So, yeah, I agree. We Live in Time. I thought was really dope. Terrifier 3, of course. I like Mr. Crockett. I don't know, man. It's so,
yeah,
I, I guess
potential. It's got
because
potential.
it's got potential. Yeah, yeah. It's like an evil Pee Wee's Playhouse, man. And I just
Mhm.
like the whole concept of that. And I wish I had him back when my mom's had them crazy ass boyfriends, man. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had Mr. Crockett to get rid of them niggas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Elvis was way better in that than he was in that movie Carve, though. Like that movie Carve was fucking silly as
Right,
shit.
right. I did like Salem's Lot. I thought Salem's Lot was fun.
Shots to
That
Mark, the best part of that movie.
right. Mark didn't play around. And I will say, well, even though I wouldn't say this is a best, but I think a movie that just gets a lot of hate, and I don't think it deserves it. I think is a Joker. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
I think I liked the movie. I did. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
As a Joker movie, yes, it's not a Joker movie. Like if you watch it as a character piece about Arthur Fleck, I think you'll appreciate it more than looking for a movie about the Clown Prince of Crime, because you're not going to get that.
It's a lot deeper than I would say. Like, and it's gonna take time for people to kind of like get it.
Yeah,
If some people just don't get it, and that's fine. It's whatever.
right,
But don't
right,
sit there
right.
and say it's the worst fucking comic book movie of all fucking time. That's just fucking crazy
Nah.
to me, bro.
I watched. I happened to watch Jody's review on it, man, and Jody took a steaming pile of shit on it.
Man,
Jody,
I can't. It's just certain things. I can't take people serious, man. When like they
yeah,
critique certain things, and it is what it is. You just gotta let it be. Let it be. Just let it be. You know what I'm saying?
right.
At this point, because it's like if you think that's the worst movie of the year, or whatever the fuck, you probably don't. You haven't watched no type of movies like fucking Strangers Exist. Chapter 1 exists.
Oh,
That's dog
I
shit.
take it a step. I take a step further, my nigga. The magical Negroes,
Oh Jesus.
the
Fucking
Society of the
trap,
Magical
fucking
Negroes.
tarot, night
Ooh,
swim. You're going
yeah,
to tell me that Joker 2 is worse than night swim or
not even close.
imaginary?
Not even close.
Borderlands, Madam Web, movies who got no absolute plot. That
Right.
just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, facts.
Oh, time cut, trash. That shit's like a
Oh,
Pete. Like, you saw Totally Killer, right?
I didn't finish it, but I did watch about half of it.
Finish that, but
Okay.
time cut is pretty much like the PG-13 version. I was just like, as soon as I saw that TV-14, I was like, man, this is
Yeah,
about to be ass. They cut away from all the kills. How the fuck you can call this a time traveling slasher when you're cutting away from kills? That's what the time cut is about. It's just cutting all the. That shit was just bad. That was a bad
right.
movie. Very bad.
Oh wow.
Very bad movie. But what you got cooking up this for the rest of this
Um,
week?
well, I dropped my final horror review. It's a versus for spooky season. I did a Texas Chainsaw Massacre 74 versus Texas Chainsaw Massacre '03. And
Mm,
to get a different perspective on it, I got my daughter on there with me. This is her first time on YouTube, so I said, okay, I'm gonna let a young buck watch. Watch. So we watched them both together. Okay, so I want to see from an
mm,
old head point of view and a young person point of view, and I think you'll be surprised by the results. So I just dropped that one today. And what do I got coming up? I don't know, because after spooky season, I got to kind of recalibrate it and figure out what the hell I'm gonna do for the next week and shit coming up. And and I also did a watch first time watch for Demons 2.
mm.
Yeah,
Fire.
check that one out as well. Yeah, that's not as strong as the first movie, but it did
I,
add. Well, I'll put it this way: it did do some things better than the first movie did. But I just thought the first one overall was more effective, just because of the setting.
mm.
It took place in a movie theater, as opposed to
Demon,
this apartment building.
Demons 2 just doesn't take itself serious where I like it. You know what I'm saying? And like
Yeah.
I like that I like Hank's character more in this than when the dude plays Tony. Because
And when
just
he played
Hank
the
just
pimp,
like
yeah. Well,
yeah.
he
I,
lasted longer.
yeah, that just like that shit is so funny. Like he's leading the charge, throwing fucking weights at people and shit like that. That shit
Right.
was so fucking I gotta show you the clips I made from both of those movies. But I
Okay.
found Hank to be very entertaining through that whole shit, like throwing fucking flower pots and motherfuckers and shit, and shit's hilarious, bro. That motherfucker
Yeah.
was just on 10 the whole movie. Just,
Right.
just like
Right.
that roid rage and shit.
All right, then he
But
almost. I said because I was reacting to. It. I said, "Oh, I said we almost done with the movie." I said he's gonna make it to the end, and nah, he didn't.
got his ball.
He
They
got his
got him by the
balls flipped
balls.
out, literally.
It's just the way he delivers his lines too is just funny as fuck, man. Like we need
Right.
more people like that. But what that's all you got? Uh,
Yeah, that's all I got. Well, let me ask you. What did Chainsaw 03 or Chainsaw 74? Which one did you
oh, bro,
prefer?
you already know, bro. 03 all
Oh,
day.
three.
03 is
Okay.
probably like the best like one of the best horror remakes next to like Evil Dead 13,
Okay.
13 and shit. But
Okay. Okay.
I
Respect.
do like the original. I just you know what I'm saying that 03 one
Yeah.
that scarred me as a kid. That legit like watching that movie fucked me up. You know what I'm saying?
I will say once again, they did do some things better than they did in the '74 movie, like actually seeing him put the face, like the mask together, and when
Hmm.
and when he put on that one dude's face, and he turned around and looked at Jessica Biel, like that was some creepy shit. I was
Yeah, the
like,
whole
wow,
cutting off the leg, putting it in salt, like that shit.
yeah,
I
yeah,
still I have that image stuck in my brain.
right,
But yeah, for as far as what I got going on, like I said, uh, Lil Uzi dropping his new album at midnight, so I'm gonna have to try to get a review up for that if he doesn't like delay it last minute, which would
hmm,
just be so fucking trash. But and then I want to watch Robert Zemeckis's Here
yeah, okay,
and the best Christmas pageant, whatever the fuck. I just seen they got like an early screener for that thing on was it Saturday? So I was gonna try to do a double feature.
damn,
Um, I just I just put up a review, my last like review for this month. Don't Come Home, really interesting haunted house mixed with a little sci-fi type of series. It's only like 6 episodes long.
hmm,
It's on Netflix. Highly recommend it. It's an
okay,
emotional mind fuck. That's how I can pretty much put it. Like
an
if
emotional
you were
mind
to
fuck,
take if you were to take like Haunting of Hill House, little elements of the others, little elements of like Sixth Sense, a little like little elements of Dark, and mixed it
right,
all into one, it would be that show. Um, trying to think what else. I'm gonna continue with the From reviews. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely gonna be still a thing. Like I said, next week is gonna be a little bit more busy because we got the Heretic, the Memoirs of a Snail,
yeah.
and what was the other one I wanted to watch?
What's crazy, bro? I had I fucked up, bro. I had screeners for all those movies you mentioned, but
Mm.
now that they don't kick my ass out, I can't see them anymore early. Matter of fact,
It's all
it
good.
just today I got an invite to Gladiator 2, and I'm like yes, but then I'm like no because they kicked my ass out. So I'm still getting all these invites, bro. I just can't go to them.
Yeah, I rather just pull up with the peoples, man. I rather pull up with the peoples and
Yeah,
watch these movies with the peoples. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Get that kind of thing. 'Cause I don't need to be around all them critics and shit like big wigs
Fancy
and
asses.
shit like that.
Well,
It's
it's
all
crazy
good.
because the movie that got me in trouble was Amelia Perez, and I think that drops tomorrow on Netflix.
Oh, I heard about that. I heard about
Yeah,
that. Oh
that's the
yeah,
movie that got me in trouble.
that's the other movie I was thinking about. The third movie I
Yeah.
wanted to watch, like do a triple feature. I was gonna watch Memoirs of a Snail. I
Hmm.
was gonna watch Heretic, and I was gonna watch Anora because I keep
Yeah.
hearing things about Anora, and I feel like that would be an interesting triple feature in general. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I'm curious to see what people got to say about Amelia Perez because that was definitely it was a different movie. But I guess because I went into it expecting Colombiana Part Two. Remember Colombiana with Zoe
yeah,
Saldana? I was
yeah.
expecting that, and what I got was a musical.
Damn.
It was like a
Everybody got
musical, huh?
I was like everybody doing musicals this year, bro.
Yeah, yeah, but because it starts out like this,
Mm,
like Sicario, but then it goes
mm.
from Sicario to a musical Sicario, and then from that it goes to what the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm
Yeah,
gonna try. I'm gonna try for you. I'm see that that's playing in my theater or something like that. But
right.
like I said, this has been a great episode. I'll see y'all in December with the Perk Show Awards because I really want to just lock in with a lot of this other content to kind of just get this list perfect. You know what I'm saying? Just so I can give you all the best award show. Last year was really dope. But yeah, I appreciate you, Rashad, for pulling up once again.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Anytime, bro.
and for y'all that catching the replay, make sure you hit that like button before you go. If you're watching this live and stuff like that, hit the like button. If you're new, you're just finding this, hit the subscribe button. Do all the necessary procedures and all that shit. Follow Rashad G reviews. You know what I'm saying? Great content over there as well. But until next time, I'll see y'all the next one. Peace.
Peace.